allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone. This is January 19th. It's Tuesday due to the Martin Luther King holiday yesterday. This is the Broadwater County General Business Meeting. We do follow Robert's Rules of Order. We have a fiscal and fiduciary responsibility to conduct county business as efficiently as possible for all Broadwater County residents. Meetings are recorded and are on YouTube, so please state your full name prior to any public comment. Any separate conversations need to be removed from the meeting and conducted outside. Outbursts will not be tolerated. Public comment will give each person who wishes to speak an initial 3 minutes to do so, and all comments must be directed to the board chair. Before we get started, Mr. Wright, who is your escort today?
Who do you want it to be?
You need to have an escort into the building and out of the building and in the office to which you are taking care of business.
I have two.
Who is your escort, please?
First is Mr. Slifka.
And the
Second
sheriff
is
is
the
also.
sheriff department.
The sheriff and Franklin, you guys take responsibility?
Yep.
All right, thank you.
And what responsibility is this?
This is due to the letter that has banned you from the courthouse without escort due to the life-threatening threats that you've made against
Would you
employees.
explain to the people in this room really what that means?
No, I'm gonna leave it at that. It is a matter of public record.
Well,
So we are
John,
gonna go ahead and get on to county business. So with that, any public comment? Get started. Lynn?
I do. First of all, here's my application. So whoever wants it.
Thank you very much.
And then, secondly, the only other thing I have is, we're trying to do the reverse 911. And part of that is going to be, we want to put it on a sheriff's office website. We don't have that yet. We're still in the process of working on that. But looking for permission to put it on the county website so people can go in and register their phone number, so they can do the reverse 911. And so I just got this morning from the dispatcher who's working on that. And so I just need a blessing saying that we can have a spot on the county webpage for people, the public, to go and register their phone numbers so that we can do the reverse 911 on it. So.
Do the people have to call in and get it registered?
They do. If they go on the link, they go in and then they get everything set up. From what I understand of dispatch is that they could put it in, but it's not, if they put it in, it's not going into it won't go into the system that's doing the reverse 911, so then it won't register the way it needs to. So there'd be a link the company would put on, and then they manage it, they make sure everything gets plotted where it needs to be plotted and everything else. And then when the dispatch goes and picks a grid, that 10-block radius, hits a button, does a message, everybody in that area who's registered gets it.
Oh, so if they're not registered?
If they're not registered, they don't get it.
So in other words, it's gonna be kind of bad.
It is. We're gonna put a little advertisement out in the paper saying, please go to the webpage and do this. I think you can do it from your smartphone as well. So a lot of people got away from landlines, obviously, and that's what's really caused a lot of problems with reverse 911 here in the past. So just want to kind of get out there and get that information out there so that we can do ours more effective, I guess. So and we've found a pretty good system that's fairly reasonable, maintenance costs and everything else. So that's where we're looking at it. So I don't know if you guys need a motion or
I think a verbal affirmative would be good.
That's so true.
You think so?
I'm
Okay.
good with that.
I will get her on track with that. And then who does the managing of the county website?
Ernie Forey.
Ernie for you, this one, okay. Just want to make sure we'll get everybody in touch and get that working. So wonderful. I think that was it, all I had. So
All right.
okay.
Thanks, Lynn. All right, any more public comment? Joan?
The districts to the county commissioners, there's lots of people, there's
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Yes.
Is this time when we can ask questions? I'm not sure. Okay. I just have some questions that I've been concerned about for actually some of them for a few months. And I'm going to do this and ask, my name is Lois Christensen, by the way. And I didn't find an agenda for today's meeting in the paper. I also looked for the minutes from last week's meeting. I didn't find them. I really liked to read those. I don't find that they're nearly as complete now as they used to be even last year when Southwick's had the paper. And I'm not finding so many things in the paper that I'd like to find that I feel like the agenda today that should have been in the paper. And also, one of my questions that I'm really concerned about, I read a letter, an editorial in the paper last week concerning a possible $1 million loan that the county commissioners were saying they'd take over if the hospital defaulted. My concern is, from what I'm understanding, the county has defaulted, not the county, the hospital has defaulted on 2 loans that they have not paid back. And if I'm wrong, I would like to know. If that is the case, another loan should not be approved until those other loans are taken care of. Because all of us in our private lives have to make sure that our personal ability to take care of the bills that we've got, if we've signed papers, we are responsible for them. That is just a matter of integrity. And I do not want our county saying, if you can't pay your bills, we'll take them over. That's not good business. And because we are so many retired people in this county, our taxes went up last year because we voted for the school bond. I don't see us feeling responsible for irresponsibility. That is a great concern. One of my other concerns is, and I say this with a shaky voice because I'm concerned about some conflicts of interest that I'm hearing about. I don't know if they're true, but I know in the paper a year ago, the county financial officer was accused of a conflict of interest and was harassed, I thought, from some things that I read in the paper, about finally getting fired. And I'm hearing things now that I'm thinking, jeepers, conflict of interest, let's be fair about this. If there's a conflict of interest between hospital personnel and some of the people here, that deeply concerns me because we cannot legally, and I've been an officer in several different places where we've lived in different things. My understanding is that if you vote for something that one of your family members is involved in, or somebody that you've been, buddy with, you can't vote on that issue. That is not something that, you talked about Robert's Rules of Order. I don't know if that's in there. As a parliamentarian, I would have to go back and look at those because I have been there at one time. But I don't think people can vote on issues when they've got a conflict of interest. Those 2 things are, and I'm just shaking like a leaf because it took a lot of courage for me to. And the 2 nurses that were told that after Linda left, I don't know them personally, I never knew Linda. All I know is that it's my understanding that the WIC programs and things from reading the paper were involved with that. I didn't see that, even though it was a county program, I didn't see that as being an issue that the county commissioners were involved in. And I thought that that is something, WIC is a United States government project. Some of those things are, Medicare is government, federal government. I don't understand why the county got involved in that. And that's just questions that I have, conflict of interest. Why this happened, that those 2 ladies left when they were told they'd have to be under the hospital jurisdiction, and I didn't think that was right. Please don't think that I'm trying to put anybody on the spot. I'm just seeing some things that truly trouble me. And like I said, this has taken a lot of courage for me to come here and ask these questions, and I would like answers. If somebody has gotten fired because of conflict of interest, what's going on. That's all. Thank you for letting me ask these questions. I don't know if I'll ever get an answer, but I'm paying attention.
Thank you very much. The way we do it is we hear public comment and then we answer the questions.
Okay.
So you get your answers here in just a few minutes.
Oh.
So I heard, Bill?
I'm Bill Upthegrove, and I'm treasurer at the hospital, and so I'll be glad to stay afterwards and answer any questions. I would say that if you get your information from the opinion page, it doesn't have to be truthful. So you think you'll find these answers printed in the paper this week, but I'll be glad to stay afterwards. Mr. Holm asked last week, but I can tell you the hospital's never defaulted on a loan. So wherever that came from, I'll be glad to answer all those questions after the meeting.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Comment? John?
In the write-up of the agenda, I see in there about some of the issues that's coming up that needs to be resolved, preliminary county business, a lot of records and things. I went to the clerk, like Dan, to get a copy of the finalized documents that have been prepared by you and Elaine, excluding him for some reason. And they tell me the only way I can get a copy of these documents or final them is through you. Just like I tried to get an issue to come before, to get some time before the commission over some other issues. Apparently you're controlling all of this. Do you have this data that you could provide to me and the citizens of this county on these exact finalizing these issues? Can you provide us with provide it to me and the citizens of this county through presentations, either through in the hands the best way? Can you do that?
What are you looking for exactly, John?
It's exact issues of what you're going to bring up, the issues to be voted on to approve today, one and all.
Okay.
Can you do that? Can you give me a finalized where it's all understandable to where you can read it and figure out just what's really happening, not what's been proposed to happen, and especially now that you've lost your other support of the issues, excluding him for some, most everything he's excluded from. I don't know whether he does it himself or you do it to him, but that's the way it looks like to me from my perspective and all the things that I'm involved with. Can you provide us with these complete finalized copies ready for passing and utilizing? Can you do that?
Okay, thank you for your comments. Lois, to your answers first. Okay. The minutes and the agenda, we send the minutes, Ann's been taking the minutes for the commission for how many years? A long time. So the minutes are taken by the same person regardless of who owns the newspaper. As far as the publication of those minutes, the new owner of the paper, Bobby Wade, started republishing the minutes this year, and so we automatically send them to her every week. So if a week got missed, it's either because they didn't get approved in this meeting or perhaps they were missed somehow. But that is the purview of the newspaper to put those in. Same with the agenda. We send the agenda to the newspaper by a specified time every single Monday afternoon for the next Monday. And I think those have been in. If they missed a week, it's a newspaper error there. We have missed a couple of weeks in the past, just not meeting that deadline, but that hasn't happened for some months now. As to the $1 million loan at the hospital, there's absolutely nothing to a $1 million loan to the hospital. The county has not gotten a $1 million loan.
Not yet, but I mean, that they're thinking about it.
No, not that I'm aware of. There was a financial plan to actually take some high-interest loans and get a less expensive or lower interest loan, but it wasn't for $1 million
Oh, that's
that I'm aware of. I think
editorial.
that's just rumor. I know it's just rumor, just vicious rumor that has no basis in fact. And again, Bill can give you more details on that. As far as conflict of interest, I've heard the rumors too. They're also vicious. As far as the finance officer, I don't remember any accusation of conflict of interest. There is an investigation into DES and what happened there, and the finance officer is part of that, but there's nothing there. It's an investigation. Until we get the answer to that investigation, we have nothing. So innocent until proven guilty. But as far as those accusations, there's nobody. I saw it in a letter to the editor. I am not taking any money, period, from the hospital, period. If that's the rumor, I know there's a whole bunch of other ones that are just salacious, and they're 100% not true. Public health, I don't know why the nurses left. We started asking questions to find best practices to save money, and the fact that they quit is their business. I don't know why that was done. And you're right, I don't know why county is overseeing medical issues. Like public health, it is law that we have to provide it, but there's some argument that we are not equipped to supervise how that is delivered because of HIPAA and so many of the other laws that are out there. To John Wright, Franklin is included in everything. All our documents, mail, etc. are kept in a common area downstairs in the commission office. Anything that we vote on is a matter of public record, and anybody can see it the week before, the week after, or anytime they like. So, with that, thank you, everyone. We're not going to argue. This is public comments. We're going to move on to now to Montana Minute. Franklin, do you have anything to add for Montana Minute? Anything good to say about our community?
Well, the firemen put on a good dinner for all the retired firemen and elected officials. Very good. They have it every year in January. I don't think there's any firemen here, but Doug, I guess, probably the only fireman this year, but it was good. Good, I could always do it. It's real good.
All right, I will concur. I attended that dinner as well. It's actually put on by the trustees of the Rural Fire District, and it's for all the volunteers to thank them for their work during the year. They do all the firefighting. They also invite emergency services. It's all volunteer, no pay. So thank you also to our volunteers out there. Anyone else have a Montana Minute they want to share? Anything good you want to say about our state or community? All right. Commissioner's Community Update. This was started so that we could keep each other informed of what we're doing during the week. So Franklin, what'd you do this week?
Well, besides the dinner, I went to the conservation meeting.
Anything to report?
No.
All right. I also attended the safety meeting, and Mike Conkey put on a very successful DES training for railroad hazard and scenario of a crash. It was well attended, 6 from the Sheriff's Department, a lot of our volunteer firefighters again, EMS, hospital. So well done, Mike. He's not here yet. All right, so moving on. Mr. McCabe, if you'd like to come on up, Nicole, Julie. We have COS review, and this is over COS discussion. This was seen last week.
This is Mr. McCabe. I've invited him to come in today, even though you've already seen the COS. I'm going to put it out here anyway. It was brought up that this survey, this family transfer, may be an evasion, and so I've invited Mr. McCabe here today basically just to assure you and the public that he will be submitting this to DEQ for their approval, even though he's not going to go through the subdivision process. Mr. McCabe had previously submitted information to DEQ for what was to be known as the Ermine Minor Subdivision. He then discovered that this property that he owned was not encumbered by any restrictions that would prevent him from doing a family transfer. However, it still should be important that he takes it through DEQ, so I just brought him here just to make that statement to you, so it's part of the record, so this can move forward.
I've always had every intention of finishing with DEQ. There was no attempt to evade that. Promised my wife that I would put in the septic system.
All right, any questions, Franklin?
No, I don't have any.
All right.
I just have a question. Mr. McCabe, have you been in contact with Mark Westergaard about continuing with this? Because last time I spoke to him, he hadn't heard from you in months.
Oh, well, we're working through this part of it because it affects what he does. He's already been paid most of the money to finish it, and he will finish.
Okay, I just wanted verification, because when this came through and there was an exemption on it that said, you know, you were not going to, or no water or sewer facilities were gonna be on it. There's an exemption on that. I had some
I have
concern.
every intention of doing that.
Right, okay, just want that on the record then.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you. I'll take this to Don today for his signature and we can get it recorded.
Thank you, Mr. McCabe. Thanks, Nicole.
You're welcome, thank you.
Well, that was easy. Yes. All right. 10:15, department heads mandatory approval of timesheets. You department heads that are here know why you're here. Are you guys aware, electeds? We had an issue last week where timesheets, in order to pay department heads, were not approved. The reason is we're now a 50-50 commission. We need 50% plus one in order to get anything done, which means with us we have 0%, 50%, or 100%. Well, we had half saying no to approving the timesheets, therefore no to approving payroll for department heads, and 50% saying yes. So status quo stands. It took us 2 days to get an answer back from legal counsel at NACO. We got it after close of business on Wednesday at 5:11 that we could go ahead and pay our department heads for the work they had done. So when the agenda was done, I didn't know the status. I didn't know if we'd be issuing paychecks for a number of our employees. So I wanted you guys here so that we could explain what the situation was. So with that, do any of our department heads have any questions or comments? Julie?
So has the commission always signed our, the department heads payroll sheets?
Not always. They have
Never.
over the, excuse me,
have.
that's not true. We have over the past couple of months, yes, so it's
Why
never.
is that?
Well,
Why
I
the
guess I wouldn't say that.
It's actually best practice. We should have been doing it for decades back. We now have an HR consultant. As soon as she saw we weren't doing that, she said, hold your horses, you have to do that. So it's from HR that we now have started it, and we need to continue it. It's also in our personnel policy. Okay. So the issue isn't that we're watching you as a hawk, it's that it's just another redundancy. In the government, there are so many opportunities and so many reports of embezzlement, conflicts of interest. We have to have multiple eyes on everything to do with money. It just is a deterrent. So that's the reason HR has said thou shalt sign the timesheets of your department heads, and so that's why we have started doing it. So.
Yeah, I'm the one that's getting slammed for this, and I'll tell you what. I'm not gonna assign department heads. I'm gonna hit you like Doug. You take care of your people under you. You know, I don't know if you worked 5 hours or 50 hours a week, same like with Dana or any department head. I don't know what you've worked. I'm not gonna sign off. I'm assuming, I'm entrusting all of you that you're doing it right. And if there's ever any suspicion or anything comes back to me, I will get on it and I'll go through the past year's time cards to find out. But at this point, I don't have any suspicion, or there's been nothing reported to me. I guess, because they said that one of the reasons was to see if there's a pattern. Well, if I looked at your time cards today, the next month, or next payday, I'm not gonna remember unless I write everything down or go right through everything. So that's it, and that's why I'm not signing them. It's not against any of you. As long as there's no suspicion or reported misuse, there's no problem with me at all.
Any questions from department heads or electeds? Now, Doug, of course, isn't elected. We wouldn't sign your time card, or yours, Val and Kirk. You guys are the department heads.
Oh, excuse me on that, yeah, you're elected. But all the department
right.
heads.
I have an email from Michelle Quiggery, and this was sent last Wednesday evening at 8:35 p.m. Michelle Quiggery is our HR consultant, and we defer to her for all HR and management questions and issues. I would like to remind the commissioners that it is important that all employees have someone review their time records. The review and subsequent signature only indicates someone looked at it. This is to ensure employees know it will be looked at. Obvious errors are not made, such as claiming vacation when it should be sick leave, etc., and for seeing patterns over time. Your signature does not mean you agree with the hours or that you know, in capitals, they worked those hours. This should not be left to one commissioner to do. I suggest agreeing on a system, such as 1 month you sign, 1 month it is the other commissioner. If you can't agree, then state so in a meeting on the record. However, again, I stress the signature does not mean you know they worked the reported hours. I hope this helps. If you want other ideas or how to divvy up the effort, please ask and I will provide other ideas. Michelle Quiggery, Quiggery and Associates Consulting Services. So I'm going to submit this for the record. And also, for the record, how do you feel about Michelle's suggestion that I sign 1 week and you sign or 1 month and I sign the next?
I'm sticking right back to, I want that on the record, what I just said there a while back, why I'm not signing them. And she states right there, what good is it? Sure, I don't mind looking at them, but I'm not gonna sign them off. Unless, like I say, unless there's some suspicion.
How do we know you looked at them unless you sign off on them though?
Well, we've been doing it in the meetings here.
How do we know?
And it should be in the minutes that we looked at the.
If there's not your signature on there, how do I know you've looked at it?
Well, I don't much care what you think on that. When the time comes, I'll go through.
No need to
them.
point your finger at me. I just, as a department head, I would kind of like to know that somebody has reviewed my timesheet. And how do I know if there's no signature on it?
You know when the time comes.
And what is that time?
Whenever there's any suspicion.
What kind of suspicion?
Go ahead, Dwayne, I guess you got a question.
No, Dwayne, I will call you in just a moment. We're going to follow Robert's Rules of Order today. So, Franklin and Brian, do you guys have any more?
Well, I've said what I stated, and that's it. I'm not considering arguing with anybody.
All right, any more comments from department heads before we hear from the public? Mike?
Wouldn't you want to be more involved though? That's what kind of makes it, when you sign a town card, you kind of become more involved with what's going on in the county, with what's, you know, what's happening in all the different departments. That's how I take it. I mean,
That's why we put the trust in the department heads.
you guys.
I guess, you know what, maybe that might be good. You two have mentioned it. We'll really go through some of those things. I'm not gonna sign them off, but I'll tell you what, I'll be going through them.
Please do.
Real close.
Please do.
I keep a logbook. I keep a logbook.
Can we look at yours also?
Every day we do.
I don't have it.
You don't have a timesheet?
We do it. Never was until a year or two ago, and all we do is just sign it and date it.
We keep a daily logbook
Is it?
of what we do and how many hours we work and.
Elected officials actually on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days.
I think department heads are too.
Yeah.
Well, as long as they document it on their time sheet then.
All right, we have 2 comments from the public. Linda, you're not really a department head under the commission, but I'm going to actually put you front of the line anyway.
I'm Linda Hoop, and that was one of my questions. What's a department? But I also want to know, if nobody signs those timesheets, does that hold up these people's pay?
It never did. They never were signed, other than about 2 months ago this come up, but they never were signed for the 3 years I've been
Well,
here.
it amazes me that somebody's not signing them and reviewing them. I mean, that amazes me that you can just submit a timesheet and nobody looks at it and you can get paid for whatever you want to get paid for. That amazes me. I always signed my employees' timesheets.
It should amaze and infuriate the public as well. We need to have more management. Again, our department heads are doing a good job. Let's keep it that way and not open any doors to suspicions and more salacious rumors like Lois alluded to. So Dwayne, you're first.
Dwayne Hull. The department heads, do they run the people that's, or do they tell the people underneath them what to do, how to do it, or, okay, why can't they sign them timesheets?
They do. Department heads sign off for for the ones that are under them. Like, I'm gonna use Dana. He signs off for the 3 that's under him. Hone does the same thing in solid waste.
So if there's fraud or embezzlement or anything like that on it, they're to blame for signing the time sheet.
Well,
Nobody
that's right.
signs
I'm
the
sure they,
department head time
I'm sure they look it over.
They're looking, I'm Val Hornfeld. Dwayne, what they're looking for is the commissioner to sign off on the department heads' timesheets, not the people underneath them.
Okay, that's what it's clear, I'm sorry.
Nick?
Nick Korthals. Will this ordeal change once the third person's here, or will this be ongoing?
I would expect it will change with the third person, because we could get to 2/3 supporting the timesheets and that's the payroll.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna get paid no matter what, I mean, it's, as you have for the last, well, the 3.5 years I've been here, and on through the past commissioners forever.
All right, anything more on this subject? Julie?
So, like when I know I'm gonna go on vacation or, sick and know I'm not gonna make it back to work for a couple of days, I usually send an email or call Commissioner to say that I'll be gone, and I put a message on my email to the department heads and people that I'm gonna be gone. Is that not common practice with other department heads, or do they just take vacation or sick leave without any notification?
It is common practice, and as a reminder, let's keep it up. Send emails when you're gonna be gone or sick, so that we have a record. But no, it is common practice. The idea behind extra eyes on duplicating review is just as a deterrent. And that's why HR is so focused on making sure.
Right, and I have no problem
So,
with
yep.
signing them, I just wondered, I mean, if I was gone for 2 weeks on vacation and you got a timesheet that said I was here, worked 8 hours every day, then it certainly would send up a red flag, but I just wondered if everybody made a practice of letting you know up front that they're either sick out of the office or on vacation, so, okay.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, anything more on this? Okay. With that, 10:30, I'm sure we're past 10:30, 10:31. We will close this general meeting and open a public hearing. Public hearing is to adopt the Broadwater County Handbook of Personnel Policies and Procedures. We have been working on this with you guys, talking to the department heads and electeds now for over 6 months. It was ready to go at the beginning of January, but I didn't realize we had to have actually a public hearing. So that's the reason for the delay. So it's the public hearing. You've been through a number of trainings on it. We've had 3 formal trainings. Any questions, follow up on the personnel policies? Yes, Julie?
So have there been any revisions to the policy that you were emailed out? That we,
No, formatting, that's it.
okay.
Yeah. The only question was VIBA, and we're gonna have a training on VIBA at the conference, I understand, in February. And we'll come back with some more information on whether to put that in or take it out. It's a living document, so we can take things in and put them out, take them out as we go along. So, again, I'll take comments from the public as soon as we hear from all the employees and department heads and electeds in the room on this. This is just management stuff. No comments? All right. Again, there's been a lot of trainings. Dwayne?
Well, I come in here this morning wanting to get a copy of this. There's no copy of it. How do we get public, how does the public know anything about it without being able to see it?
You're more than welcome to purchase a copy. It's 83 pages. For all of you employees in here, it's pretty riveting reading. So if you're awake at 3 in the morning, it's a good document for you to pick up. It'll put you right back to sleep. It's important for us, for management within the county, but it's you're welcome to a copy. You just need to pay for it in the clerk and recorder's office. So, any other questions? John?
How expensive is this document that us county taxpayers have already paid for? How much are we charged for it?
I don't know what I think it's 25 cents for the first copy and 10 cents for each additional, whatever that math is.
50 and 25.
50 and 25, so
By
whatever
law.
that math is. by law, thank you.
All
So,
right, so the only way that we can, because I have asked Ann for this very thing that I asked you about availability, and I was told the only way we could get it is through you. Do we get it through Ann, or we get it through you?
you are escorted today by Franklin. He has a copy. He can share his with you. It's a public document, so you can see it from
Wow.
anyone you want. Melinda?
You say it's a public document and things, should there not be a document down there that, like Dwayne this morning, when he walked in there, we should be able to read it? Leave it there in its place, yes, but that way it's available to us? Why should we have to pay for it, like he said, when we already have? It's a public document, you should have it available that I can walk in here, read it,
Yep.
and walk away, not have to pay to read it.
If you want to take one home, you have to pay for it.
I want to
If
take
you
it
want to
home.
read it here, you're more than welcome to. And we'll have several copies printed. We have some copies already printed. You're welcome to look at any of those here.
And where are they available at?
It depends on which department head has printed it off for you.
Okay.
So, or for their departments or to look at. I have one in my office. Nobody called me. So, all right, any other questions or comments before we close the public hearing? Is that a
Can you send it
hand?
to me again?
What's that?
Can you send it to me again?
Yeah, we'll be sending a finalized copy again that's reformatted, and copying for all employees, and then we'll just ask you to put it in your binder that you have your current policies in, just replace it with the new.
Okay.
Yeah. Cheryl?
Cheryl Campbell, so why the public hearing if the public couldn't even have a copy to look at?
The public could have a copy to look at.
When he asked, there was nothing available.
He didn't call me to ask me. He could have looked on my computer. He could have called Franklin and seen it with him. There were a lot of different places he could have gotten it, so I'm
But
not
that
sure what
wasn't
that
part of
story
the
was.
information in the public hearing notice.
I
It said it was
believe it
available in
said-
the clerk and recorder's office.
Okay, now, I don't know about that, but it is available, and you guys are more than welcome to see it at any time. So, and it has, it has been available for months. So, yes, Bill?
Franklin, did you have a copy of it?
No, we went through these meetings, the preliminary stuff. I come in Friday afternoon, tried to get a copy, and I was denied that there was one. Obert wouldn't even answer me, and I talked to Ann, and she says, well, if there's anything, she said, I haven't seen a final draft. That's what we're talking about, the final draft.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
We're not voting anything until there's a final draft, that's for darn sure.
Franklin, you were sent a copy, and I'm pulling it up right now, to get you the date and time that it was sent.
That is the final copy.
Yeah, it was the
No,
final
it
copy.
wasn't.
Well, Franklin, it hasn't been finalized through this vote process, so it is still a draft. But the
Right.
thing is there are no changes to it
Well.
other than formatting.
I'm not sure there's no change. The way things go around here, you make sure that you
Franklin,
redirect
you're
to the
making
very last.
more accusations that are absolutely untrue, and I demand an apology and a retraction. As far as when that was sent to you, it was in November. And unfortunately, I don't have internet up here, so I don't know the exact date, but I'm going to get that, and I'm gonna make it a matter of public record, because you just lied to the public, and that's going to be recorded.
I never lied, I said to see the preliminary.
All right. Dwayne, another question.
Yes, I asked Ann this morning if I could see a copy of that. She said it's too long to copy.
Okay?
So I have asked as much as I could as far as the department heads or Ann. They told me that it was too long to copy. And that's
Okay.
where that ended.
And what exactly do you want from it, Dwayne? It's, like I said, it's a managerial document that management of the county uses in working with our employees. What is it that you're looking for? Maybe we can answer it for you. And again, copies are
Is
available.
there a copy
and
of,
you can come and look
a
anytime.
copy available for the policy handbook for public review?
Okay, yes, there has been one. Next
There
time, give me a
wasn't
call.
today.
There was, give me a call and I'll get you one. You can come and look on it on my computer. Anytime, or you can get a copy and look at it at your leisure. John?
Laura, you just accused Mr. Slivka of lying and distorting facts of a matter. I did just exact same thing today and several other issues that the commissioners, if it's anything related to anything between you and me, litigatable or whatever in the actions we're in, they said they can't give me nothing, it's gotta come from you. And just a few days ago, on my phone, you told me you can't even talk to me because of my litigation against you. Now, where is all the facts of all this? Can we get it straight and narrow, just like he said? Can we go on there and get it? I went in there this morning.
Okay, John, I am one of your victims. I am not supposed to talk to you. Commissioner Salivka can get you copies. He can put you
Are you
on the
talking to me?
agenda, and then he can return your phone calls. I should not. So that's the end of it for you and I. On our call, you said to me that you would make me your victim. That's what you said to me. That is a threat.
I said, you made me as a victim.
You said a lot more than that.
Okay, did you
All
take
right.
it, John?
Is there anything else on this subject? John?
Not everybody has a computer,
No.
and you send everything by computer to Franklin, and he doesn't have a computer.
He
I
has
get it.
access to a
I get
computer at
that.
the library. So, and this is not something that's been sent out to all the public because this is an inner document. Any public is welcome to it. I honestly don't know why you'd want to read it, but you're welcome to it. This is a document that is for the rights of the employees. It has been sent to them, multiple copies. So, anything else on this inner managerial issue of Doug?
When Mr. Holm came in my office today, I was in the process of turning around to see if I still had the email with that document on it to print off. And when he walked out the door, I will gladly print a copy of this off, put it on my counter, and anybody that wants to fall asleep can come in and read it whenever they want to.
And that's when Ann
Thank you,
told you
Doug.
it was too long to talk.
Okay, Dwayne, that's enough, thank you. We now have illumination as to what happened. Thank you. All right, anything else? Okay, we are going to close this public hearing. So now we have 10:45, sure we're there. Decision to adopt the Broadwater County Handbook of Personnel Policies and Procedures. Franklin?
Absolutely not. I have not seen the final draft. Why would I vote on something that I haven't seen the final part of?
There won't be a final until we vote on it. So, I will move that we adopt the Broadwater County Handbook of Personnel Policies and Procedures. Expect this one to be done without a second. Give him a second or two to reconsider. Emotion dies. All right.
So what does that mean for us employees?
There's a handbook out there right now.
We
That's what
spent
we've
6
been
months
going on.
reviewing it to update it.
Okay, we haven't got the final on this update.
You
Right
won't
now,
have
we're
a
still
final
using,
until you have
right now,
something
we
to
are
vote
using
on.
the policy handbook that we've had for, I don't know how many years it's been now.
But you
That's-
won't have a final version to vote on until you decide what's the final version to vote on.
Right, we gotta have that.
It's a draft until we vote, then it's
Exactly.
final. So we won't have a final till we vote. Franklin, I just, oh. This
So we
isn't
still
common
follow
sense.
the previous policies,
You do, you do.
which are outdated, which,
So is there some
Yes.
reason we can't get the new formatted version emailed out?
It was emailed, well, no, it was emailed to Michelle. Yeah, I'd be happy to send out the reformatted version. All it is more paper.
Right.
Because it has subjects per page. Right, right, no, that's, the only thing we don't have is the page numbers. So we'll get those done separately and that will be emailed out this afternoon. It's all ready to go. Again, all the information's the same, it's just condensed so that it saves you guys a couple dollars in any printing you choose to do till we have the final version. So just looking at being fiduciarily responsible and fiscally prudent. So any other comments on this particular subject? All right. It's Again, it's just management. Our personnel policies right now, Brian, are outdated and they are not in compliance with MCA at this point, so that's a big deal. All right, so we'll go to mail. We have the minutes of January 11, 2016. These were emailed out. Thanks for coming, you guys.
Check the minutes of January 2016.
The motion, it's been moved and seconded to adopt the minutes, or accept the minutes of January 11th, 2016. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Please signify by saying aye. You did? Aye, motion carries. Thanks, Aaron. All right, we have the approved claims. And this is over a couple of weeks period, so it's a little bit higher than usual. In the amount of $121,269.05.
That's not payroll claims, is that right?
These are the approved claims.
I move the claims in the amount of, it's just been stated.
Second the motion, it's been moved and seconded to pay the approved claims in the amount of $121,269.05. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. I have payroll in the amount of $180,385.11.
I move that we pay payroll amount stated.
I'll second the motion. It's been moved and seconded to pay payroll in the amount of $180,385.11. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. All right, we do have a revised motion today. We do have Mike Conkey coming in from DES at 11 o'clock to open the Homeland Security grant bid for purchases of two-way radios. As soon as he comes in, we'll go ahead and take care of that bit of business. And that's all the mail for today. Any further public comment while we wait? Lois, did you get your answers to your questions?
With more questions, but that's okay. I just have more questions, but not at this time. I would have to arrange my thoughts and do some more checking before because now I'm more confused than ever.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, no, not at all. They're complicated issues. If you want to call at any time, please feel free to. Any other public comment? All right. John?
Getting back to my original question about these issues that's come up between, now that it's just 50-50 power whereas it was with Laura, when Lane was here, you had 100% control and 50% power. It's changed. It's changed everything behind it. So when Mr. Slifka asks about a clarification, the other 50% of the power are control, and the other 50% of the power is no longer existing. So it don't exist no more. How do you justify going on as business as usual without accepting what has happened there? And I think that's what a lot of us here in the county have got questions. Where's it all at now? And I'd like to have a little comment from you, how you feel of your position now as you, what you are versus what Mr. Slifka is with the absence of Elaine. And we'd like to have a little clarification to clean up the light. And I can't see very good, but I can hear fairly decent. And I'm not hearing the words I'd like to hear. Would you respond?
I think it's already been made clear, but thank you for the comments, John.
Well, I haven't heard it, so that's what I'm looking for, not what you've said, but what I can hear.
Okay, we're just gonna stand at recess until 11 o'clock or when Mike is here. So if you guys wanna go ahead and just converse quietly, it's about 10 minutes. Mike's usually early, so I'm guessing it'll be closer to 5. That'd be great.
Let's go to the hall.
I would prefer that.
Good questions
Yeah.
last week.